I started 22 Jumps in 2020 as a way to honor my late brother. We were both in the Marine Corps. On a deployment in 2006, he suffered a massive traumatic brain injury in Iraq, and his quality of life diminished over the next 9 years, and he ultimately took his own life in 2015. Observing my brother's deterioration, it was devastating. I wasn't able to reach him the way that I had been able to reach him. I realized at some point that my missing him was never going to go away, and that was really tough. I tried. He picked up base jumping when he was still in the Marine Corps. He took me on one of his base jumps, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. The guy that I grew up with just jumped off a 600-foot cliff with a parachute. Right away, I kind of identified it as an opportunity to create more memories with him, but also stay close to him. I could sort of sense that he was sort of drifting away from the family. A friend of mine, he asked me if I wanted to do 22 jumps on Veterans Day in honor of the 22 veterans who commit suicide a day. I thought it was a fantastic idea. It was all word of mouth. We didn't have a website. It was a very bare bones event. Very little media coverage, and then we had one news station come out. I was overwhelmed and grateful for the outpouring of support. To set a $2,200 goal and to raise 17 grand, I kind of felt like I had stumbled into something that might be bigger than just a one event thing. Even before the first 22 Jumps event, I knew I wanted to raise money for organizations that were getting into the nitty-gritty of essentially figuring out traumatic brain injuries, how to test for them, how to treat them. And there are not a lot of organizations out there that do that work. I know from the outside looking in, base jumping might seem a little nutty, a little crazy, but it is incredibly deliberate. The people that have chosen to attach themselves to 22 Jumps, these are serious folks. It very much is serious business. To be able to do 22 base jumps in a single day safely, that level of commitment is on par with to be good at your job in service of your country. Our organizational goals are to be able to consistently host 3 base jumping events per year, one in Idaho, one in Arizona, and one here in West Virginia. We're in the process of standing up sort of a speaker series, formal event, sort of pre-event. And that's like a kind of a fancier dinner with speakers and sort of connecting people who otherwise wouldn't be connected. We want people to see the value in what we do, and we want people to recognize that we are doing our part in addressing something that feels unsolvable. There are currently no solutions for traumatic brain injuries for the living. We advocate for veterans, and we're developing solutions for veterans, but not just for veterans, right? If we can figure out how to detect and treat traumatic brain injuries before they create those long tail, quality of life degenerating effects for veterans consistently, then that will inevitably open opportunities to treat traumatic brain injuries for everybody, whether you're a service member or not. And now we're in DC, not only sort of elevating base jumping in general, but using it as a platform to grab the attention of people who are doing the serious work and people who are, have the ability to change policy for the better. We want durable partnerships with corporations that see the rate of veteran suicide and suicide in general in this country as incompatible with a thriving society. One of the follow-on effects of 22 Jumps is that we are again sort of creating a community within a community, focusing the energy of base jumping towards fundraising for traumatic brain injuries.
Working with an organization like 22 Jumps to raise awareness of traumatic brain injury and veteran suicide, and to do something to prevent those things is not only helpful for the community, it's helpful for us. It's therapeutic for us.
If I can create those experiences and bring people who are interested into the fold through base jumping, that's about as powerful a community as you can have.
22 Jumps is a really good platform to make that kind of almost taboo topic of PTSD, traumatic brain injury, an open discussion forum. And I think that's when a lot of growth can happen, in base jumping and in the veteran community.
Here in the base jumping community, they know how to meticulously inspect every portion of the sport, and they keep us all pretty safe. So I mean, it's pretty great.